Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Lina Ameliana. I want to explain about my proposal. The title is about students' perspective in flashback effect of gamification-based assessment in higher education. And the next one. In the chapter 1, there are background of the study, scope of the study, research question, purpose of the study, and also definition of terminology. And the next. I want to explain background of the study. Technology as a medium for assessment because a teacher must know the result of the learning process. For teachers to get effective learning, they must make assessment in their teaching. Bransford et al. 1999. Assessment can support the learning process, so it should be underlined that the learning process must be center of the assessment. And gamification is expected to increase students' learning motivation according to the opinion from Kim 2015. That gamification can also be used to increase user engagement, motivation, and instruction. The next. Scope of the study. Research will conduct a qualitative case study which will be conducted on English language education students at the University of Ibnu Khaldun, Bogor. And the next. Research question. For the first, what are the benefits of using gamification-based assessment? And the second, what effect will university students have of using gamification-based assessment? And the last, what is the response of university students regarding the use of gamification-based assessment? And the purpose of the study, that is to investigate the students' perspective in using gamification-based assessment. And the next. Definition of terminology. For the first is flashback effect, positive and negative effect. Change 2005. Flashback shows the intentional or accidental direction and function of curriculum change in teaching and learning aspect through change in general exam. In general, flashback is the impact of testing on learning. Turner 2001. And the second by Landers and Callan 2012. Gamification as the use of elements associated with games such as game mechanics to an educational purpose to create more learning engagement. And the next. And the next is chapter 1, that is literature review. For the first is student perspective. Perspective is collegial design that incorporates the measurement of thoughts, feeling, and wills. What a person needs to be aware of his willingness to learn, to the problem he decides to act on, his acceptance of attempts to advise or talk to him the foundational research he needs before he evaluates new thinking. The student perspective motivates the way he adapts to the learning environment, and this influence his learning outcomes. And the next was big effect, positive and negative effect. Uh, Person 1998 state that general exam influence the attitudes, behavior, and motivation of teachers, students, and parents. And because exam often come at the end of the course, this influence seemed to work backwards, hence the term was back. And the next is assessment. In the world of education, assessment is a component that upholds the achievement of learning and teaching. Assessment is an integral part of the education system because it is very important tool and education to facilitate effective learning. Bransford et al. 2000. And the form of assessment is usually in the form of individual assignments, group assignments, mid-semester exam, and final exam. To obtain this assessment information can be done in various ways, especially the researcher with investigating and Kahoot applications. And the last is gamification in assessment. Uh, Gamification is not a component that is always associated with playing games, but it also about ensuring the students get encouragement to complete assignment. Students need sensation of achievement and success when trying face exam. Villagrasa et al. 2014. Lewis and Kalan 2012 give definition on gamification as the use of elements associated with game, such as game mechanics to an educational purpose to create more learning engagement. In addition, gamification has a goal to encourage responsibility, motivation, and direction to students. Game 2005. And the next, is chapter 3, that is research methodology. In research methodology, that is research design. For the first research design, the research will use the method in this research that is qualitative with case study design. Case study research is form of qualitative research that refers to human understanding and behavior based on human opinion. Polit and Beck, 2004. Another definition explains that qualitative research is a series of activities carried out to obtain a new, more complex, detailed, and complete understanding of what is being researched. That is from Anggito and Setiawan, 2008. And the next participants, the participant of this study will take data from for students of University Ibnu Khaldun. And the next data collection, the research data was obtained to be organized so that research can analyze the problem of this research. Researcher will collect data through two stages, namely questionnaire and interviews. In interview, researchers will conduct interview with students to find out the positive and negative effect in learning using gamification. And the questionnaire, researcher will provide a questionnaire contain several questions to students. Research use a questionnaire to determine the types of Westbeck effect and student learning. The activity was carried out to find out the question and the opinions of students during learning based of gamification in the assessment. And the next is research instrument. researcher will use two instruments in study, namely Google Form and the Zoom application. The Google Form, researcher will use the Google Form instrument to collect questionnaire data, and the Zoom application to conduct interview. Researchers use the Zoom application so that the material present was clearer. During the interview, the researcher will and the next data analysis, that there are assembling step. The data from interview notes were collected, and the step to analyze, describing the data from questionnaire and interview notes, sorting the data, categorizing important data to find important information related to the research focus, and the last completion steps. This is a draw conclusion from the result. So that's all for me. Thanks for attention. I'm sorry if I have many mistakes of my pronunciation. Thanks for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.